What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Study Hall here on TCG University for the card game UniVersus. My name is Tam, and today I'm joined by
James.
And Jeff.
What Study Hall is for the unenrolled is we've taken a bunch of your guys' UniVersus topics as well as some of our own, and we sit down and we discuss them for your amusement, entertainment, and knowledge. So with that said, if you like the show and you want to go out and support us, please go out to patreon.com/TCG University, just like all of these awesome people have. We've got Addie, Andrew Dang, Anthony Albino, Bryce Rassack, Chris Miner, Clay Cardwell, Jay Rogers, Jarrett Hubbard, Jesse Morrison, John Stone, Justin Farst, Justin Hobbs, Kat Maria, Kevin Broberg, Kieran Vision, Lucinda Letica, Okemawa, Paul Casagrande, Ransom MacArthur, Peyton Kiker, Samantha Stevens, the baddest bitch around, Sean O'Brien, Theodore Ruiz, and Tyler Zane Pease. Thank you guys so much for keeping the lights on and making the show the best that it can be. But if you don't have any bucks to toss out on Patreon, that's totally fine. You can find us a lot free with ads all out at youtube.com/TCGUniversity or as a podcast service of your choice on the internet. Last thing, big shout outs to our sponsors, Card Custom Build, Inked Gaming, and Dex Protection, but we'll talk about those a little bit later. James, how has your week in UniVersus been?
We played on Tuesday, and I built a deck for this week. That's actually just it. I haven't had a chance to do anything.
Yeah, that's okay. Did you learn or think or hear any content that got your brain moving and grooving on the game?
I like the retcon that came with the Voldo stuff we'll talk about later.
The retcon.
Yeah, the foundation they printed because they realized nobody wanted to play Voldo.
Oh, you want to talk about the? We can do a quick little intro on that. That's fine. Yeah, that's cool. What about you? How's your week? That totally counts as something you talked about this week.
It was good.
I figured we were talking about it.
I
Was not on this list.
accidentally played the wrong character, but it was fun.
I thought your deck was really cool.
Yeah. And then
What character are we talking about?
Pyron. Not legal in retro.
Yeah.
And then
We all get to play one non-legal character, right?
I mean, you play whatever you want.
Nice.
And then the ring deck or the ringman deck was super cool, even though it didn't really work too well. But
I think your deck worked fine.
Yeah.
I think you easily could have won that match.
all right, maybe we should play it again.
I think okay. So
one character that doesn't count as rotation.
there was one position that he put himself in one of the games.
Yeah.
And you would have just clutched it out. Easy. Actually, so easy. Easiest thing I've ever seen in my whole life.
It is so strange because like we already talked about this, and I
What position is that?
had all right
Because unless it's the turn after I checked really bad and I had to commit everything out.
no, you dragon tongues.
You dragon tongued.
Yeah.
And you had no resources.
No,
You were
double-
at like 9 life, and
Yeah.
he had double,
if he
and he had
just,
double
like,
shotgun
if
in
he
hand.
just dropped, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, he had
If he just
shotgun.
passed it, yeah.
Yeah. There was nothing you could have done.
Unless I blocked reversal. If I
But
got it off.
you didn't have it.
Yeah, probably. I don't remember.
I looked at your hand. You didn't have it. That was the
Nice.
time to go in because your character fucking is a cheater.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
got a big.
Filthy cheater.
I would love to play my shotgun on a 3. Thank you very much. My 3 difficulty shotgun, easy, easy. I gotta check a 5 and then check a 3. Easiest thing in the whole wide world. Crazy easy. But no, I think that with a little, it had to be a little riskier. I think he easily could have.
I keep trying
taking that
to
game.
build Drill Man, but it just never works.
It's because Drillman's a bad character.
Yeah.
Drillman's actually really bad. Can I have the timer up, Tyler? I want to make sure that I know what's going on. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I think your Ringman deck was cool. I think Pyron was cooler. I think there's some changes that I would have made, and I'm sure round 2 you'd easily can make those changes. This past week I made Huitzel, who actually seems like the most unfair character in that format. But I don't know if that's necessarily Huitzel's fault, or if it's Hellfire's fault, right?
Hellfire's a crazy good
Hellfire's
card.
like not a fair card.
No.
Takes away all the punishment from playing 1s and 2s.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's fine. It's the meta, I guess. There's always a biggest fish to complain about.
I like to complain about the overfeeding.
The stock in Venomous goes up. Hey,
Talk about it every single time we talk about draw cards.
I mean, you've not been wrong once,
I know.
right?
Venomous is a critically underplayed card.
And then what was the other deck I played? Oh, Tomahawk Man, brought to us by Jesse Cervini. He gave me the deck list. And I played it because he's a Patreon sponsor. He's a Patreon player.
Shout outs to him.
Yeah. But yeah, this week has been fun. I jumped on the Discord and I just kind of lurked for a sec a couple days ago, and we're gonna go and jump into our first topic, which is gonna be speed versus stun.
Did you want to talk about Voldo real quick?
Oh sure, yeah, we can talk about
to.
Voldo. Just type in Voldo for the low thought. I want to talk about Voldo. You, what's up? What's up with Voldo?
I thought we were talking about it. That's why I said something.
Nah, dude, we're talking
without
about it right
saying
now.
the entire thing of they retconned an entire set because of one card by printing one card. Did we talk about Silver Bullet? We talked about Silver Bullets on this one recently, didn't we? On this podcast?
No, that was on that was
one of the
way
other
different
two?
podcast.
Okay.
This game does not normally print silver bullets. This is very silver bullety.
It's very, very Silver Bullety. They went, oh, no one wants to play our cool Void characters because we printed Pure Fart. Huh. Slap. Hey, here's a card that says Pure Fart doesn't work. You already had one in the format, but you can play this one at 4 and get away with it because it has a +2/2 ability too.
It's so much better.
They literally
As,
went.
as somebody that's played Water Freezes, this new
we made a
foundation is
mistake.
nuts.
Guys, we made a mistake. We're sorry. And then they doubled down on it and went, here's a much better Voldo as well.
I mean,
I think they're going to be sick if you stack them.
1 and 2.
Oh yeah.
I haven't done any thought process on it, but I can tell you my opinions on the foundation, right? And my opinions on, honestly, Voldo 1 as a whole, right? I think there's a little hyperbole in what you're saying, because the only data that we have from the past formats has been the Legendary Wolf Online tournaments. They're the only tournaments that have been reporting, right? And Voldo has been inside of the top 4 like 3 times.
It's because people stopped playing the Pure Fart.
So why was this card printed?
Because Pure Fart was still a problem.
But it's not a problem.
I think.
But
I
it
think
was.
I think
People
it was-
just
hold
are
on.
playing Void characters because people stopped playing Pure Fart because people stopped playing Void characters.
I think they printed it because of the level of discard that this new Voldo can provide you with.
What do you mean?
I would much rather.
So
him get
if you
fucked up by
are,
Pure
so if
Fart.
you're stacked, and then use Voldo's response.
Talk about not stacked first.
not stacked.
Yeah.
All right, your
Discarding one
spiral
card per
is
turn.
going to at least discard 2 cards.
Sure.
Every
and
just
become,
playing
and become
one-
a mid.
if
one
you played the
spiral.
right deck, every single one except, in my opinion, one card discards 2 cards a turn.
Sure.
Like you get downward spiral, you get his attack, you get mob strike, you get to play the card that says, "Sweet, I'll draw a billion cards. I made you discard like 6," and almost do it for paying no cost.
Yeah.
Because he just says, "Yeah, play card for free." Because Tim Keefe was fair. Let's just make it not fair by making you discard and I get to play a card for free.
Well, he plays that card for free like maybe once, maybe twice per game. It's remove 4 foundations from your discard pile
Yeah.
to do that thing.
yeah,
Yeah, to get plus to your check.
yeah. You're just gonna kill somebody.
Sure, I don't disagree with you. What I'm saying is I don't think that this kind of deck is actually an issue, and I don't think that printing that foundation actually does anything because you already had a card in the game that does that, and people just already aren't playing Pure Fart. Like they just
Nobody
aren't.
played Void characters because everyone was scared of Pure Fart.
Right.
Which is why we were just talking about people were playing it during the Legendary
It is
stuff.
it is sitting here being
Because
a,
nobody played it.
it's a vicious cycle because of the fact of like, oh, we're playing Pure of Heart, so I'm not playing Void characters. You're not playing a Void character, then I'm not gonna play Pure of Heart. You're not playing Pure of Heart, well, I'm gonna play a Void character. You're playing a Void character, I'm gonna play Pure of Heart.
Yeah.
And we could just
And
sit
they
here and
printed
go,
a foundation on that just says, no sense in playing Pure Fart now.
well,
They get that foundation out,
that's-
and when they go in, and they know they're going to discard your entire hand, they just go, well, I don't have to worry about Pure Fart. It's a much better card. It's, in my opinion, a much better card because it has a second ability, and because it's not unique, whereas it's also not as good of a card because it doesn't just every turn, no, commit, nothing happens. You're not going to touch me.
Yep.
It doesn't get the cool nothing happens thing, but like you do get to play 4 of it. Like it's just
Jeff, as somebody who's played Void a lot, I'd love you to weigh in a ton on this.
Yeah, I think it's way better than Water Freezes. I think that card's nuts.
like
I never liked committing with Water Freezes because I mean, I think that might just boil down to my play style, but like,
It's also boils down to like the meta too.
but I think he's gonna be a really good character, and I think I agree with James.
I think discard your opponent's hand every single turn is nuts.
I think if they're stacked, it's just gonna be
It's just gonna be even crazier.
terrifying.
It's discard 2 every single attack.
It's
And
not,
you still get
it's
the-
not though.
It is. Do you know how many cards discard cards on play?
Like so few. Like actually so few.
You get Spell Circle. You get
Sure, that's not an attack though.
I know, but you get
that's
to
an extra
stack
card.
those on top of the stuff that already does it.
Yeah.
You have He have Voldo 1-dot cards.
Mm-hmm.
You have Downward Spiral. You have his new attack. There's one more. There's one more really good one. That
You've got another one of his attacks that says if you pick a weapon, they discard a card. Or
no, that's the
something
one
like
I was
that.
talking about.
Oh, then you also get Downward Spiral. Did
Downward
you also say
Spiral.
that?
His other card.
Okay.
You get
Mary Mantis. If inside of Voldo, if its zone has been changed, they discard a card.
So every single attack discards 2 almost.
Sure.
And then once you stack Voldo 2, every single one could discard 3,
Yep.
Yes.
which is just crazy. You're discarding your opponent's hand every single time, and then on top of that, you get to play Venomous, Mother Russia, and Esoteric Yoga.
Sure.
Your opponent's just never going to have cards in hand.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
you're just going to slap them in the face.
I'd love that. That sounds great.
For free.
Sounds great. Sounds wonderful.
Sounds absolutely terrible.
It sounds very, very cool because the Void symbol's done nothing ever for anybody ever.
Void would did fine this past format. They didn't print Pure Heart.
Sure, and now they've printed an answer to Pure Heart, and so now
Doubled down on Void.
and Void gets to now play with the big kids, right? I think a Hellfire deck is going to sit there and look at you and be like, well, you're right. I did have 10 cards in my hand at the end of my turn. Sure, I'll get rid of these 4.
Yeah, you're right.
I'll attempt the block and still
I'm
check
playing
my
an
one.
entire deck that says you don't get to draw cards because I'm discarding your entire hand. So I'm going to have Venomous on board,
Yeah.
Esoteric Yoga, and Mother Russia. Those Hellfire decks don't matter.
Yeah.
You're going to try and draw cards. I'm going to go, no.
Sure.
Like it just,
That is a way that you could play that deck. What I'm saying is I don't think that this character is so egregious that
Oh,
he
probably
like
not. No,
I think
and-
it's fucking nuts.
I think he's gonna be really good though.
I think he's gonna be very-
way better than maybe you even think.
And I hope that's the case, right? I hope that that every character is better than I think. I hope that every character is like the best that it could possibly be. That's what I want. Yeah. Is there anything else about Voldo that you guys are interested in?
I mean, he makes everything in mid, which is cool. He has that whole reptile thing going on.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Spit.
Acid Spit?
Yeah.
Acid Spit's
Third
okay.
attack, you discard.
I
I draw
want
a
to
card.
just change the name of Spit. Let's go.
Just call it Spit.
Eh.
I
Changing things to mid is nuts.
think so.
Yes. You're not going to have infinite mid blocks unless you're rimless, but whatever.
Yeah.
Then you just don't use your ability. Who cares?
I don't know, man. I think I see this character.
So you ready
I
for
see this
how many-
character so much like Reptile, like a 7-hand size Reptile. That's all I see him as.
Do you know how many cards you
Like,
could
that's it.
draw with Ore now that you can change things to mids and do really cool things?
Hell yeah, 1 extra card. It's pretty hype.
You can Dragon Goddess. Oh, cool. My attack's a mid. You'll discard a card. Cool. Sick. Discard another one. Discard draw. Discard draw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mob Strike. Voice of Reason. Could draw so many cards.
By all these real thick commit costs, and then you don't kill them, and then they kill you because
What do
they're
you mean?
Yeah, I
The
don't
Goddess was
know
the
about
only one
this.
that committed.
yeah. all of this just sounds like hyperbole. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited for you to prove me wrong. We're going to jump into the first topic then. Like the first topic that I had planned.
Josh, that's real good.
I'm gonna build Void Amy with Mary Mantis. Yeah. I mean, we look at the 3 symbols that he has, right? Void, Chaos, Evil.
Did he change symbols?
Yeah,
Yeah,
death
death,
for
yeah,
evil.
death.
He has Evil now. I don't know. Still gonna feel real bad when he gets to Gore Brothers. First form flip to Gore Brothers.
I just use the other one. I
Yeah.
had.
Well, it's a first form, so no, you're just gonna skip your turn if you're afraid of my whatever.
Is Water Freezes a first form?
No, that's why that card's. I still think the Water Freeze is better than this card. I think the
Water
good.
Freeze's ability is better.
I think the good part about this card is the commit, not the.
That has the
first
good part is
form.
it has a second ability. Yeah.
Yeah.
Water Freeze just does one thing. So if you don't need the one thing, it doesn't do anything, and it's unique.
No, it's not. Water Freeze is not unique.
It's not.
Oh, you
It
only
says
need one.
it says form,
It says
so you only need one.
Yeah.
So you play two, so for consistency's sake. Anywho, I want to talk about speed versus stun. I was on the Discord this past weekend, just lurking.
As people do.
Yeah, we'll put a link to the Discord down in the description down below. This is the public UniVersus Discord. And they were talking about the idea of like something sparked me. I don't remember the exact conversation of like speed versus stun. And I've constantly had this thought of like, well, speed's way better than stun, but then like in the same vein, I'll flip-flop and be like, well, stun's way better than speed. And so I just want to have like a conversation of like flushing out the difference between speed and stun. When is it good? When is it not good? So on and so forth. That's the conversation that I want. So my first question is, if you had to pick this attack enhance, this attack gets stun 1, or enhance, this attack gets +1 speed, which one would you pick?
Stun one.
Stun one.
I'd pick +1 speed.
You're insane.
Nuts.
Tell me why I'm nuts.
You're gonna win with that one attack. That one attack.
You get to commit your opponent's things. That's why I said the stun one. Your opponent has less options to fight against you.
Well, I mean,
Your one speed doesn't stop them from playing their one extra ability a turn.
sure. 9 times out of 10, if I'm going to get stunned, I'm going to commit a face down. So the ability aspect of it doesn't necessarily matter.
It could.
It could. For the same way that, like, if this attack is actually relevant to you, then it's going to be harder for you to block. And if you want to block, you then still commit at those foundations.
Speed's easier to mess with than stun is.
Sense of Morals would disagree with you, but yes, I see what you're saying.
Sure, one foundation.
Yeah. An $8 rare. All over the place.
Deck.
Fucking all over the
Only
place.
3 symbols. Every symbol has some sort of speed 8.
Sure.
And Sense of Morals is your only out to under 3 symbols?
Sure. That's fair. 9 times out of 10, I think that speed is what kills people and stuns like the setup, right?
Yeah.
And if I were to fill my deck with a bunch of +1 speeds, I'd feel better than like a bunch of stun ones. And that's just how I feel about it. And so when I sit here and I have to decide which is better, right? So let's take a look back. All right, let's compare it to 2 other cards, right? When you have Sea Viper, who's like your charge attack gets stunned 2, or you've got Spike, which is Flip Foundation +2 speed. I'd rather be Spike like 99% of the time. Because eventually, my slow-ass attack is not going to get any more bonus from the stun. Speed can go infinite. Speed could end at 10,000 if I could. Stun 10,000 doesn't do anything. Doesn't do nearly as much.
Yeah, but eventually you'll run out of foundations. It's not like you're going to flip every single attack. Just one attack and flip every foundation for the 2 speed.
Let's
only
take
2 speed.
Let's take the cost off of it, okay? Let's take the flip off. This attack gets 2 speed.
Sure, you can still only do it once. You get 2 speed.
Sure.
And the cost matters. The cost is the way in between other cards. Hers is just be a charge attack, get a stun. She doesn't commit for it. She doesn't flip for it.
I think you're missing the point.
Well, no, because the way you value things is between. I'm saying I'm not missing the point.
Okay, yeah.
The way you value things is between what it gets you versus what you spent. The reason you value speed more is because stun only gets you so far. You only value stun so much. You value speed more than you value stun.
Yeah.
Versus those, you spend an asset to give, or I guess a foundation, not an asset. You spend a resource to give 2 speed.
Sure.
She just gives the stun. She doesn't spend anything.
Sure.
Just do it.
Okay. All right, let's talk about Grow then. So Grow versus Sea Viper, if that's a better example. Enhance : this attack gets +2/+2, right? We forget about the damage because it doesn't matter because for the example, right? So now they have the same cost.
Sure.
Yeah, and so I would rather have the speed because the speed is gonna matter more in the long run.
I would rather have the stun because you commit everything in your opponent's staging area. They're not gonna have outs for everything you do on stun. Like there's a infinite number of like speed hate. Like they just have to have one good one and you're just done for the turn.
Sure.
Like,
I mean, the counterpoint is that like, I don't know. Go ahead.
I don't know. Because I would take stun too, because I feel like it applies this speed bonus to the rest of your attacks.
Does it though?
Yes.
Okay.
progressively stun is better. It doesn't give it to every attack, but progressively stun is better because if like see Viper's case, if stun was on every single attack, it's commit. They no longer have things to commit.
Yeah.
And then you've done your job. You committed their entire staging area. Mm-hmm. Speed, it's just like, well, I didn't have to block this one. It doesn't put me in the danger zone. Nothing. You didn't do anything. You just gave your attack 2 speed. You gave your attack whatever. You still took the damage. Whereas in the same situation, if they gave it stun instead of speed, they still took the damage, but you did get to commit 2 things. You still get somewhere when you stun, and sometimes with speed, you just kind of don't.
Let me take a different route. Casa de Leviathan, one of the fastest base attacks in the game.
It's pretty quick.
If it was a 5 for 5 with stun 2, do you think it'd be as good as it is?
Yes. Because the good part on that card is actually just
Not
the destroy.
Sure. All right.
Like
It's a separate point. I want to talk about just speed and stun. We can't talk about anything else.
I was saying it's the same thing. Stun 2 and 5 speed is the same thing. 5's already quick. Like, it's going to be the same thing. If they went to block with a 3, if you're essentially committing to 10 as a number.
Yeah.
Regardless of the stun 2 or the block. Like, if you block the 7 with the 3, you're committing 5 at best.
Yeah.
If you stun 2 and it's a 5, you commit 3 at best, and you still commit the 5.
Sure.
It's equivalently the same thing. The only difference is if you don't block it, you still have your stun 2.
Sure. Yeah. I think that's like back to the original thought of speed versus stun is when you think about that as your first attack, yeah, that math makes sense. But Casa as my third attack, I don't want it to have stun ever. Stun on the third attack like this doesn't matter. Just the speed.
It could.
I mean, at that point, they have to still have those foundations.
I think base speed is better than base stun. I don't think giving stun or giving speed is as good as each other. I think
what does that mean?
So, like, if Casa was a 5/5 with stun 2, as 7/5 with stun 2 is the same thing practically. But, like, late game, the 7/5 is better.
Yeah. Because
obviously, the later you go, the less things they have to commit. And with they don't have things to commit, the speed is better.
Yeah.
But earlier, the sun's better. They each have zones where they hit. Speed's
earlier
better
in the game or
earlier in a turn, earlier
sure.
in
I just
general,
want
just
clarification for me
earlier
and everybody
stun's
at home.
better because it progressively makes your turn easier. Whereas speed just kind of does nothing until you get to a point to where they blocked, they did whatever, and you just outspeed everything, which happens later in a turn rather than stun being early in the turn. Stun can give you those early wins by just committing everything, where speed can get you those late game wins by just having everything be fast.
I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think like the biggest thing I'm a big fan of like tossing these ideas into like I always force you guys to make 51% choices, right? And
we did.
We could sit here and be like, the easy answer is you want to have a little bit of everything, right? There's so many times where as somebody playing, like, which is like a big example, like arguably the best stun card in the game. I'll play Coffee Samba. All right, I'll stun everything. Go ahead. 2 mid block. I'll check. Commit my character. All right, was that the only thing you had? Okay, neat. If I gave this thing a fuck ton of speed, you are maybe possibly less inclined to block this thing, even though you've got all of your ready stuff. You could commit a card in order to give it minus damage, or you could do these other things, and then now I've hit you and it's got a different.
If you're slinging a Coffee Samba as your only attack to like kill somebody, why not just hold it?
We're not even necessarily saying to kill somebody,
but
right?
like,
the implication is in a vacuum,
yeah,
right? Because we can't sit here and. I can't play the Adam Block game. I can't play the if.
No, what I'm saying is like, why would you play a Coffee Samba like that? Coffee Samba is not a kill card unless you have the conditions to use it as a kill card.
Coffee Samba.
You use it to set yourself up. It either stuns your opponent's entire board
Sure.
to do that and set up your other attacks, or you're using it to draw 2 and get advantage.
Sure. I think that card's also a really good momentum generator.
Why? Just because nobody wants to block it?
Nobody wants to block it. Yeah. I drew 2, you drew 2, and you don't want to block it because I drew 2 extra possibly aggressive attacks. And when you sit down and you look at a Coffee Samba and you're like, shit, but they just drew 2. What else is coming?
Yeah.
Right? And so when I look at the stun's good if I can give speed to the rest of it, right? But if it was just speed on Coffee Samba by itself and you weren't looking at anything else, I think that giving plus 6 speed might be better than stun 6 in the long run for the role that it has. And the whole point of this topic, right, is to get people at home and get us to think about the value of cards and like what it is that they do. So obviously there's no right or wrong answer. I'm just trying to sit here and pull stuff out of you. That's all I want. It's Jeff's turn to talk.
I'm a stun guy. I think stuns just. I think that's partly like, I know that you're just playing the other side, but I also know you're a speed guy. So like,
Yeah.
He does like his +2 speeds.
so
I think +2 speed is insane.
+2 speed's real good.
I don't know. I really think that stun is better, because even in your example, you said that like they don't want to block the coffee because you just drew 2 cards. So if they commit their character to block your Coffee Samba, if you did draw one other attack, you can just poke them and then build. Like,
and if it doesn't, the stun got you there. Like, man, +1 speed for every card in your opponent's hand would be All Might.
Yeah. It's just. Now we get to Josh Hill's point in the comments, right? Stun on sick on reversals, though. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's
Stun's nuts on
that's the best place to put stun, in my opinion. Is things like Zhanghua feels borderline unfair. It's like hey, I'll give it stun 1, 2 more stun 3. That's half your board. It's turn 2. Quit playing the game. I just don't like. Let's I'm trying to think of like a good example. I hate when I've got a sick, slow stun attack. I'd rather have a sick, fast non-stun attack. And that's just how I value cards, right? I'd rather have a 6 speed for 4 than a 3 mid for 4 with stun 3. Like 9 times out of 10. I think 6 speed for 4 is just way more value in more spots than the stun 3 is.
I want to interject.
Please do.
For a second, because
Yeah.
I got a hard on for characters that do shit with stun.
Sure.
I think stun is also a little bit more demoralizing.
Really?
Yeah, I think when your whole board gets stunned out, you're like, whenever somebody's like, the game plan is stun, suddenly being like, man, they're just getting rid of all my answers that I have to do anything.
Yeah.
And whereas speed is like, it hits you with demoralization when it's like, all right, I'll let them get the speed. Oh no, I guess I can't block it, but there's a little bit of a game plan working up to it. Where stun is just like, well, progressively you're just taking away every single answer that I have to do anything against you. So what am I supposed to do? I have to deal with these first attacks first, and just hope that you don't have it later in the turn.
Yeah.
As my little opinion on why I like stun.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I think I don't know, I just love the speed stat.
I know. You played like every speed character that just says +2 ever.
Yeah. It's because it's nuts. It's just nutty.
Say Dr. Wiley.
It's just nutty. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Well, let me know what you think. If you want to join the conversations just like Josh Hills did. Remember, out on Patreon. We're going to jump on to the next topic. But before we do that, we're going to take a small ad break. Cards Custom Builds. Are you into cosplay? Looking to get into cosplay? Do you want to show up to events dressed as your favorite character? Well, then Cards Custom Build can help. Cards Custom Build creates everything from cosplay accessories like props, trinkets, or weaponry, all the way up to full-blown costumes. Do you want to make a perfectly flowing cloth, or maybe want rigid battle armor? Cards Custom Build has you covered. Their work is guaranteed to make you the talk of the con. So go over to Cards Custom Build on either Facebook or on their Etsy account. Links will be in the description down below. And make sure you mention TCG University to get 5% off your entire order. We're also sponsored by InkedGaming.com. Are you looking to get a custom playmat? Well, then we suggest you check out InkedGaming.com. They have custom playmats, dice bags, mouse pads, and so much more. They even recently added a stitch option to their playmat and mouse pads as well. Stop those frayed edges from happening. Inked Gaming lets you play your game with your style. And if you want to get 10% off of your entire order, use the code TCG University, all caps, no spaces at checkout, and help support us by customizing your game to your style. And lastly, the show is brought to you by Dex Protection. Dex Protection is on a never-ending pursuit to create the highest quality storage and protection accessories. Their design and innovation comes from die-hard gamers and collectors just like you. They're constantly taking in feedback from their customers, and they have no plans to stop their innovations or their drive to refine the products until they're recognized as a leader in their industry. They make terrific products, all with the avid gamer and collector in mind. So go ahead and check them out. The link will be in the description down below. All right. Thank you very much for the awesome ad. Thank you for our sponsors once again. I want to talk about Breaker. It was asked in our Patreon Discord, which you can join in the conversation at patreon.com/TCGUniversity. It was asked by... Oh, hold up. It was asked by Mega Thunderzord, how relevant is a Breaker? Does Breaker suck? Is Breaker not good? What's your guys' opinion?
Breaker to me has always been more of like a well-timed thing. The better you are at timing it at the right spot, the better it is.
I like it, but I don't go like out of my way to include it. I think it's really cool because like it's one of those things that it's exactly like James said, you have to time it correctly, but like in the recent Campus Championship, he threw it down and then played a From Science. It was a little bit of a spoiler maybe, but and then I attempted to block with this is on his very first turn of the game, and I attempted to block with the reduction. I failed the block, but if I would have got it, he would have missed his next check. So like, I think it's fine. I don't think it's something you should rely on. But
how do you get better at Breaker then? You both said that it is something that relies on skill. How do you grow that skill?
Finding the situations when it's best. That's more just like you have to keep playing. You have to play a lot.
Can you give me some examples of when people should look for those situations?
Just
if
can't give like an example.
If they've built 3 on their first turn and then they play like a 5 diff, check an attack, commit 2, that might be a decent time. Like taking advantage of their bad luck.
I love that.
Or if you like maybe not game 1, but game 2 or game 3, you know their combo pieces. You can tell like when this attack is leading into this attack. You can try it there.
Make the attacks expensive.
Because especially like actual combo cards, they need to be obviously right next to each other.
The keyword combo.
So they're not allowed to avoid it by playing foundations or whatnot.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I think it's actually dependent on what is the goal with the Breaker, right? Is the goal to make their cards more expensive, or is the goal to end their turn, or so on and so forth? I think like one of the strongest defensive decks that you can actually have in the game at the moment is like Earth Jet with like Cormorant, right? And being like, whenever I want, Breaker for you, and being like, okay, well, your turn's over. You don't get to play the game anymore. But just like Breaker foring them on the first card of every turn just means that they're holding a bunch of defense. And so like knowing when to hit that Breaker is all dependent on when do you want to end their turn? When do you want to make things more expensive? Like a good example that I have for this is Vega or Dejanet. right? I loved Breaker inside of Vega. Or Breaker with Fade. You can do the same thing with Akuma and Fade,
and Akuma,
right?
yeah.
Is you sit here and you Breaker them, and then you make them cost extra, and then you put that card back in their hand, and you're like, all right, do you want to play it again? You've already paid so much. Now what do you want to? Or you're like, okay, I'm trying to kill them on my next turn. I am set up and postured to win. I want them to overcommit on their turn. Breaker and Stun can mean the same things if played correctly, right? Breaker 2 means that you're going to commit 2 more foundations. It's just a little, my opponent has that choice. And so is Breaker, what is the word he used? Bad, overrated, underutilized? How relevant is Breaker? I think Breaker is incredibly relevant at the highest level. I think everybody should have some sort of Breaker inside of their deck as this emergency button, which is why I have such an affinity for Cormorant. I was playing Cormorant
Easy
for
play card.
I was playing Cormorant all the way back in my my Scorpion 1 deck that I played 2-3 nationals ago. Just like, hey, I want this thing as a 7th card sitting on my board and just this bird sitting on my shoulder that anytime that I need to, I'm just gonna break you and be like, hey, knock it off. Stop. Knock it off. Which is why, like, even like going all the way back to Dr. Wily, I'd play MM Copy because that card's also
Same
Breaker 2,
Yep.
but with a significantly worse block. 3 mid block Breaker
But
2.
it could also be powerful 3, powerful 2.
Sounds not good in Dr. Wily because I'd rather have those ally attacks in my hand. but no, I think Breaker is super relevant to the point where I actively look to put things like Profane Sanctuary in my deck to stop Breaker. Actively.
Same. That is strange that you put it that way, because like I really don't like put Breaker cards in my deck, but I definitely I'm the biggest fan of Profane Sanctuary. So
Yeah.
you're not trying to mess me up, dude. Let's go.
Yeah, it also depends on like the relevance of the deck, right?
Relevant to the meta.
Yeah. Astaroth 2 does not give a fuck about Breaker.
Plus damage? Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for helping me out.
Yeah. Oh man, I gotta commit
Welcome
2
to
more.
the communion.
Yeah. I guess this throws is gonna get
Welcome to the team, sir.
extra thick. Or even to the point of like this is a bit of an older strategy, but like life throws, right? I'll play this 1 throw and beef it to hell.
Gain life.
Did you block it? That's fine. Take half.
Breaker?
That's okay. I was building anyways.
Build.
Who gives a shit? Oh man, this 1 diff is now a 4 diff.
Did I have to commit just 1 extra card? Oh well.
It was an insect puppeteer. I'll get it back. Like I think there's plenty of like counters to Breaker, but like a well-timed Breaker. And that is, you just have to experience and figure out what it is that you want to do with that keyword in order to push it above and beyond.
Timing is key.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything else you guys can think about Breaker? Are there any characters that like over Breaker?
Breaker too much, or
Not even, because I don't think there's such thing as Breaker too much, right? But when I think about Breaker, I think about like Kula, right? How she's
Breaker
like,
1 and everything?
hey, enhance, check a 4.
Breaker 1.
This block gets Breaker 1. Like the only example I can think of is maybe Raptor. Raptor 2.
Raptor, yeah.
Raptor 2 has just Breaker on everything.
Yeah.
Something we here at the house don't play with too terribly much, but I'm sure inside of other people's local metas, if they've got a Raptor player, they just fucking so viscerally
Probably annoyed all the time.
annoying. All my attacks are
I do.
so
Like
expensive.
Raptor. Shout out to Magnico.
Yeah.
Right where we are.
But are there other characters, let's say besides a Raptor, like that are more inherently in the
Jet.
in the deck of just like
Jet.
yeah?
Jet's probably a big one. He likes to breaker things. If Akuma wanted to, he'd be really good at it. I don't think he really has anything right now that he really wants to play that breakers. Dejanet, same thing. Just be really good. I don't think they have really good key pieces they're aiming for breaker for.
Who wants to like what character type wants to abuse Breaker? Right? It's 7 hand size characters, right?
That wants to abuse it?
Yeah. Stop you from playing attacks so that I can play more attacks. Defensive characters.
Defensive characters for sure. It also depends on like the style of play. Like Dejanay and Akuma just get away with it all the time. Because like they gain advantage. Oh, do you commit extra cards out of extra hand? I'll flip, make it even worse for you.
Yeah.
Dejanay's just like, fuck off. No, get out of here.
Yeah.
Raptor doesn't have to worry about what he plays. Kula just fucking do it. That entire team just says breaker 1 on everything.
Let's take a step back.
Okay.
All right, or let's look into the future. Right.
Ooh, the future.
In the upcoming
Okay,
meta,
Raven, hit me with it.
in the upcoming meta, I think two of the main decks that we're gonna have to fight are going to be Hellfire Impalement deck and Noob Spike, the tag team, Vengeance
can be
of the
real
Fallen
cool.
Angel Spike, right? And I feel like neither of those decks care about Breaker.
No.
Oh, did you Breaker me? I'll just play Hellfire and then ready all these foundations that I overcommitted.
I don't know. I feel like Hellfire cares about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hellfire, it depends
you
on
can't
where.
miss, like, you can't mess with that. Like
It depends on where you breaker for Hellfire. It
I
depends
mean,
on how
it
set
depends
up they
on
are.
where you break her for anything.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, for Hellfire, it depends even more. Because, like, if you just break her too soon, they just go, well, Hellfire, ready everything. Nothing happened. Like,
The other thing about
I
Hellfire,
committed a couple extra cards. Already a couple extra cards. Oh.
the other thing about Hellfire is like after they break her and then your attack resolves, you're just like, all right, I'll respond and discard this momentum, play covert and 10 on the 7, check the 5. I failed. Okay, I burnt my breaker. I'll play this other card and then sling on you again. Not to mention, like, it has, if you're not playing evil,
Wrong.
if you're no. I didn't want to say that because I just wanted the Hellfire deck. If you're playing evil, you get access to
Naturon?
Profaned,
Oh.
and then under fire you get access to. If you really want to be cheeky, you get access to Bonsai Enthusiast, which reduces the breaker
Yeah.
rating. You get access.
Is Feigned only attacks?
Feigned interest?
Yeah.
I don't
Says
remember
you
what that card
reduce
does.
to 0. It says reduce keyword to 0.
That's not under fire, but yeah.
No, I was just saying, like,
it works. It
That's
should
like
it
a
should
thing.
work. You can correct me in the comments down below.
That was just like the thing I thought of was just like, does Feigned work? If the meta is going to be those, then Revoke is going to be much better at stopping them. Those enhances.
Managard, I totally agree with you that Revoke's going to be hyper relevant in that meta, but we're trying to stay as on task as possible. Yeah, Breaker is going to be something that doesn't necessarily touch those decks nearly as much as something else.
Especially the Spike deck. Spike deck's just not even going to worry about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist with Spike.
Yeah.
Spike deck plays like 8 attacks max.
I got maybe a spicy take.
Go ahead.
Breaker 1 is absolutely worthless. It has to be Breaker 2 or up.
Nah.
Yes or no?
Any breaker is relevant all the time, depending on how you use it.
Let's unbox that a little bit. Every breaker is relevant.
Yep.
So what is it just
It just depends on the situation and how you use it.
the higher the breaker, the more willy-nilly you get to play with it. The lower the breaker, the more
Exactly.
nuanced you have to play the card, right? So breaker 1 is not bad, but breaker 1 cannot be the first. You can't block with something breaker 1 and then
Expect everything to just be
yeah,
hunky-dory.
hey, we're good now, right? It is one of those. Hey, I've got a breaker 1 card, and I need them to have 4 cards in their card pool, and then breaker 1 them. That's what needs to happen there.
No, they commit just a tiny bit bad. Cool. Breaker 1. Sling another attack so you commit enough cards to where my backswing's better.
Yeah.
Come on.
This had better kill me.
It's also good if you know your opponent's not going to build a bunch. It's like, well, Breaker 1, we'll try to get you to commit a couple extra cards real quick. Get a nice small back turn on going.
It also breaker is really relevant depending on like when you watch them have a bad build turn on turn 1. They're probably going to be attacking on turn 2.
Yeah.
I'm a 6-hander. I mulligan.
with
I draw back. I
I
build
build
2
2.
pass. You're like, oh well, I'm holding a
At
one mid
least
block.
4 non-attack cards.
Yeah, I'm going to be blocking for sure. There's no way that you're not. You're attacking me next turn, even if
Breaker's
it's just
really
the
good if
extra
they're-
review. So punish them for it.
Breaker's really good if they're setting up next card things. Like the next card gets X or Y.
Yeah.
That burns that. Like my next check to play a card gets X and Y. breaker 1. Do you want to waste it on this one? What are you doing here? Reversals are always are also good at that. Burning checks and stuff.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
I sometimes like using breaker as like mitigating those +1 checks. Play the game like a real person. You stop that.
Yeah.
You're checking normal.
Yeah.
Like breaker does almost nothing to a character. You don't get that +1.
It
Evens
was,
out.
It was really funny with the Hanya match or the Hanya
Yeah,
Tomahawk
it's
man.
like-
No spoilers, but like
Yeah, like you just
On-
said Hanya and Tomahawk, man. No spoilers.
oh no, it's just like no spoilers on how the match went, but like you on turn 1 you go, man, this is gonna be real hard for you, and you play Hanya versus the fucking
Character that says
4
4.
foundation Tomahawk man. Like shit, that sucks. That sucks real hard.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on Breaker?
You just gotta keep playing to figure out where you think the key points are to play it. Learning those is not just easy something we can actually teach. It's not something. It's just something you learn by playing.
I super don't agree with that mentality, but that's a conversation that would take about 2 hours, and we just wouldn't get anywhere. So we're not gonna have it. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and jump into our last topic of the night for the real show. We'll have an extra topic in the post show. I want to talk about blank attacks or blank cards.
I was about to say. Yeah.
Blank cards, right? In the pre-show, James brought up a good point when we were talking about retro characters that we're looking to build or whatever.
Caden 1 fucking sucks.
Cade 1 sucks because Jasko's design philosophy has hindered that character. And so what I want to talk about is what are your thoughts on Jasko printing more blank cards? What are your thoughts on that? Should Jasko do it? Should they not do it?
I think it'd be real cool. Like, I'm not saying that, like... So from where... I could care less about the attacks. I think if done like Caden attacks, it could be really cool. Some, like, slightly better stats.
Yeah.
Those were not. They were not fun cards for the meta.
What do you mean?
They were good cards, all of them. Fusion Bane was a 5 for 7. Base stats, just slinging a 5 for 7 coming at you. Imagining 2/2 with reduction on that.
Yeah. But the card doesn't do anything.
It's a 7 for 9.
Sure.
That
The
you
card
don't have
that you
to
talked
play
about at
anything.
first does not do anything.
Fusion Bane?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
it
a 5
does.
for 7.
It does 7 damage.
Yeah.
The only thing the reason that card seems good is because you've now comboed it with a card that has card text.
Yeah. That's the entire point of how like Caden works is he combos with the stuff that does nothing. He just goes, I played a thing that does nothing. I'll draw cards. I played a thing that does nothing. I'll add things to momentum. Cool. All of my blank things have breaker 3. I have breaker 1. Have powerful 3. I'll shove out all this momentum I've been gaining to just powerhouse you with one cool attack. That was just his entire style. It's just like I played nothing and gained small things from it, and I continue to play small things to gain small things. So like the idea was just they're just a tiny bit better, but like in everybody else is just like, yeah, sure, I'll reduction, give it 2/2. It's a 7 for 9. I'll play crushing. It's a 2/6. Oh, this is a 4/8. That doesn't do anything. So I don't have to worry about missing enhances. Don't have to worry about missing anything. Don't have to worry about you messing with my stuff outside of what's already on the board. I can't put myself in situations that get worse for me. It's stats coming at you. It's like playing against a flash deck. It's just like,
And you don't like this idea?
I think it's just cooler to have stuff that has stuff. Like cards that just don't do anything either become really good because other cards exist, and you don't have to worry about finding spots to put them in. They're just slot fillers that do really good things. Like one of the worst parts for like all in my opinion is sometimes if you're not forced into playing like Nutcracker and all that, your attacks don't do anything. They're not strong enough to get past things. They're not cool enough to do things. But like if all got to play, if they weren't allowed to play Nutcracker and that, they would just play cool stat stuff. 5/7 coming at you. Like that's just your other route. Like if cards don't do anything, you just play stats. Like there's a lot of decks that get by on just playing stats.
Sure.
Like Flash is one of them, but Flash also gets the cool thing of being a Flash deck. So
But yeah, like I don't really care about the attack part. But I was looking at, are they all Proto Man?
it's
Proto Man and Mega Man both have these.
have a bunch of
Those
have a couple
foundations seem really cool from
Yeah.
like a design standpoint. So you could like what? So there's like, I think every symbol has this problem. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's like usually a block zone that is
It's just terrible.
under supported. I would say.
Okay.
So you could just like, I don't know, every 3 sets or something. There's 6 sets in a block. Or in standard, 6
10.
sets.
10 sets in standard.
So many.
So
It's
I
a
don't know, every 5 sets or whatever.
Print a couple.
Print, like in every symbol, just a decent blocking blank foundation.
It's interesting.
Why not just print?
I've
like,
rubbed off on you significantly.
Um,
Nobody else in the nobody else in the game cares about blocking. Nobody gives a shit
because
about blocking.
like,
I give a shit about blocking.
well, you rubbed off on me.
Yeah, I know.
because it feels terrible blocking with your attack, and then
Really?
and usually,
Huh.
and then all your foundations have at best a 2 block usually, unless you're playing like at a really unfair foundation.
Boo hoo. What a whiner.
So
Sorry, that was a little. Let me explain why I'm saying boo hoo. You're a whiner. All right, that's the trade-off that you have for blocking with an attack. I think attack should have fucking hella good blocks, but like you're losing out on the fact that you're missing damage.
no, I
Your
understand
foundations
that. I understand that.
should be shittier blocks because you don't want to block with them. You should be. That's the cost of blocking with a thing that's not punching your opponent.
I don't
Right,
think
right.
they should have blocks in a deadlock format at all.
What?
I don't think Foundation have good blocks in a deadlock format at all. You
You
build
think
the 10
We're
and you
not.
stop.
We're not in
I
a
know.
deadlock format.
We are. No, I mean like with deadlock existing, Foundation should not have that
Okay.
because there's no incentive to play Foundations anymore. You don't have this incentive of there's a trade off. Well, there's no trade off. You build the 10 and you stop, and you block with Foundations because you don't want to build over 10 because deadlock's going to fuck you up. Like that's just the format. Why would you want why would you want your opponent to hold Foundations? I don't want that. I want my opponent to play them. I want to get them out of their hands. Why would you give good blocks to things where your opponent's just going to hold them anyways? The entire game is build until you get to 9 and stop.
It doesn't even have to be like it doesn't have to be the block anyway. It could,
I mean,
it
I
could
like-
be like a regular foundation
Dude,
block, and then give it like a.
I want it to be there's
There's like a 1/6. Is that naivete?
Naivete's a 1/5.
Oh, there's like a 1/6. I'm sure.
That is, it's not it might be Lone Wanderer.
No.
Pretty sure there's a 1/6.
Gentle something.
Gentle Soul.
Gentle Soul.
Yeah. 1/6, like a 1 mid block.
That's a good card.
What if they were just like infinity symbols? 1 low, 1 high, 1 mid.
You're insane.
I don't know about that.
That's-
I don't know about that.
And just all 2 5s.
Uh,
Just solid 1 mid, 1 low, 1 high. Infinity symbol 2 5 2 5 2 5 2 5.
interesting.
No other abilities, nothing else.
Interesting.
Every symbol gets it. Every symbol has it.
When you say 2/5, I think I'm down.
2 difficulty 5
Actually,
control.
yeah. If it's 2/5, I'm down.
It does nothing. So on the board, you're building it for the purpose of what it is to.
If it's
be
a
foundation.
1/5, absolutely not.
No, it's fucking nuts.
Yeah. I don't want to give it. I don't want to give it every symbol fucking
Free
12
build.
spam.
Yeah, I know, right?
Ooh.
Because if it's a 2/5, you only play it if you absolutely need to.
Yeah.
Right.
You play it to fill your zones.
Yeah.
And if you
See,
have to build
I'm
it, it's
down.
not a 3 diff because like 3 diffs are bad. 3 diffs are bad unless they do something incredible like High Seas Adventure and stuff like that. Like
I don't know.
unless you
I agree with
specifically
you.
are using it, three
What?
diffs are bad.
I don't like 3 diffs too much either.
Like you have to have specific reasons why you're playing certain 3 diffs. Like
Sure.
you play a Sun's Love because it says plus a hand size, and plus a hand size is fucking nuts.
Sure.
Like you play Tijuana because it readies things. But like random, not all 3 diffs do stuff like that you want inside your deck. Like not every deck's gonna play We Are Mini, unless you're really worried about momentum hate, or you're really worried about that stuff. It's just like you don't need it.
I don't know. I gotta say that this is a bit of a tangent. Some of the most fun and / or strongest decks that I've built, like that Astaroth 2 deck that I built, did not play 1 diffs. It did not play. Or sorry, it did not play 0 diffs. It played
Well, yeah.
a couple 1 diffs. I understand that he gets a lot of
I was like-
value off of the 3 itself, but I think I played like double-digit 3 diffs, and even taking off the 3 or 4 of his foundation that are exclusively for him only, like I felt like that strategy actually worked really, really well inside of the 5-hander. My staging area made up for my hand size, and
Well, like-
because I'm not playing bad checks, I can actually like on turn 1 feel comfortable going 3-3, check my 3, commit my character 1-2, and like have built out 4, and like I've got 2 fucking powerhouses.
Now we get into
Like,
more of like a like building like topic of
Yeah.
like 5-handers get away with that, like because like you don't play a lot of cards anyways, and drawing a couple of them don't hurt you.
I have noticed as a player that I am, if I'm not playing bad checks, I am scaling up the number of 3s that I'm playing significantly.
Yeah, you
Like
don't.
I'm playing close to double-digit 3.
It also
checks,
depends on
3
like how
diffs.
your deck's playing. Like if your deck's a slower deck, play a couple more 3s. Who cares? Like building a couple more 3s is going to be better for you. They have good abilities most of the time.
Yeah.
Like again, dependent of course, because like some of them suck. But like just getting to play those, just like Rimless got away with it because she raised a bunch of things.
Yep.
But she's also a 5-hander that is supposed to be just a tiny bit slower, and she slow rolls and snowballs into things. So like I'll build a couple extra 3s every turn. Like
We can talk about this in the post show.
know.
I want to get right back into blank cards. I would love more blank or more very simple cards. Like a good example of this is the now errated Gravity Hold. I love that card. I think that card's fantastic.
2 low 4 that does nothing.
It has flash
Just a
and breaker
flash.
1. That's it. It's a 2 mid block, 3 low for 4, 2 low for 4, something
2
along
low
those
for
lines. Yeah. Totally great. 3 diff attack. Cool. I think I actually would love these cards to be like put like coming back into retro, right?
Yeah.
Seeing things like flash lightning, right?
Nuts card.
I would love to see more flash lightnings in the game. Something along those lines. Hey, let's have a 0 diff attack that's not fatality, right? Let's have a 0 diff attack that's like a 0 mid for 1 that just has a static that says if blocked it goes to your momentum. Cool. So simple, so easy. Hey, this thing is going to my momentum. That's its job, and it pings you for 1. Neat. Rad. It's like I don't have to play any more enhances. This thing does its one singular
Like,
job.
the one part we were upset about with Fatality is the fact that you can't interact with it.
Sure.
If you just print a 0 for 1, you get to interact with it, and that makes it fair. Like,
Yeah, I
just a rat of Fatality.
it's a very big errata. There's a lot of texture taken off of that card.
Who cares?
But I think I actually like
Reprint.
some of my favorite cards inside of the Caden kit are, and like will open up. I would totally play the fuck out of his 3/1 non-block.
That's 2 dots.
What?
Yeah, blindside's 2 dots.
Sure, I don't give a shit. Doesn't have any card text. 3/1 non-block, like a 6 mid for
I think
fucking
it's like a 6/8.
yeah, 6 mid for 8 on a 3 difficulty 1 check.
Oh no, my bad. 5/6. 5/6. It's a 5/6.
Sure, sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun as fuck.
3 diff 5/6.
Being
1
like,
check.
just accidentally on turn 1. All right, this is the kind of game it's gonna be. Like I think stuff like that like opens up the design space for you get more. And I'll just use this Yu-Gi-Oh term. You get more vanilla style.
Yeah.
Like if the last card didn't have a card text than this, you get
That'd be so cool.
You get more toolbox stuff too. You get toolbox
Combo
you get
blank tech box.
yeah.
You get real toolboxy too. Like toolbox characters are actually toolbox characters. They're putting together random things to do one thing instead of just being like, I'm a good character. I'll play missile launcher, Scarlet, Nutcracker. Ooh.
And then conversely, you still have your Nutcrackers that have 5 keywords
Yeah.
and do a fucking million things. You still have your Scarlet Meteors, which are like, hey, I'm the most complicated shit in the whole wide world.
I do
But like,
everything you want.
just real simple, easy. Hey, I have a singular keyword. It's reversal. It's thick. I don't have an ability. It's just the word reversal, and it's an 8 mid for 4. Block reversal. You're eating this 4 damage. There's dick you can do about it. I think stuff like that sounds like the most guerrilla gameplay I've heard. You know, here's the thing: there are some people that love, and there was speaking of guerrilla gameplay, there was a thread in the Discord where we were talking about fair cards versus unfair cards, and the idea of Unga Bunga style play, and the fact that that's like not what does the term Unga Bunga mean, and like what does that actually look like in terms of like playing the game, and like what I'm describing can be considered guerrilla gameplay of like Hulk smash, boom, which is some of the most fun ways that you can play the game. There's so many ways, so many times
dropping things
I'd have been like, man, if this works,
Right.
and then do that 6 times in a turn. If this works, if this works, if this works.
I think blanks would be fun.
Yeah.
I just don't want it to be too overpowered.
I agree. So with blank cards, we can't print gills, right? Hey, all my attacks have 5 speed. All my attacks are already statted out of their gourd. Hey.
Or you have to make it to where like they have to count some keywords. Like it can't be a minimum 0. There has to be a minimum like 1 keyword.
Sure.
Like
Semantics, we don't have to get into that, but like as long as they're designed well, I think what this will also do is this is also going to be a really good learning curve for new players. Like I think like one of the easiest things as a new Magic player is just to fill my deck with big beefy boys
and lands that
and
do
just
nothing.
and just Timmy it out, dude. Like, oh man, I have 8 green cards in my mana area. I'd love to play this big tree guy.
Big tree. I play Groot.
Yeah, I'll play a big tree guy. Hey, none of my hand has extra card text. I'll play it. Hey, like that's why I think Raptor's such
I don't know what this card does, so we're playing this one.
Raptor's such a good teaching character because like the flash mechanic's really good, but Raptor has 19 health and you have to know what Breaker does, and you have to chain your attacks correctly or else you'll just fucking die. Why not just be like, ah man, I guess this 4 diff does 8 damage. Can you deal with my 6 mid for 4? No? Sure. Yeah. That's how I feel about it. So Jaska, if you're listening, let's print some lame cards that don't synergize with
Reprint
anybody.
Blindside.
Sure. I mean, I guess that's not exactly the answer I wanted, but sure.
Reprint Blindside sounds like fun.
I was gonna play if I made the Tomahawk Man deck and not Jesse Savini, I was gonna play 4 of Blindside in Tomahawk
Just
Man.
to play it.
Yeah, it's a 3 diff. Smack you for your whole life.
It's only 6 damage.
Sure.
Only.
It has evil, right?
Evil, Earth.
And order.
I don't think it's order. What's
I'm positive it's order. That's the symbol that's gonna play it for Tomahawk Man.
then? Yeah, it would have to be order.
Sure. So if it has evil, you can just toss it into some.
Where?
That's Void. His second character is Void. So you're trying to build a Void deck?
Sure.
I know it has Earth and I know it has Void, I believe. Man.
I know it has void, I believe. With that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to push you to the post show.
I was real sure, and then I was.
Yeah, that's okay. We're going to push you to the post show. If you want to join us on the post show, remember patreon.com/TCUniversity, $1 a month, get access, and you get to join the chat just like all these awesome people. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, stay learned.
Get learned.
Brilliant.
We'll see you guys next time.